Okay, this is a new project for me. This is my Eberspacher, if that's how you say it, not too short. Bought off the internet at a very reasonable price of $150, non-working or spares or repair. These are supposed to be one of the rated the best on the market. This video is to show you how I'm going to try and get it going, hopefully with a bit of luck. We're not seized. I want to take a look at that because it's a little bit noisy. Did you hear that when I first did it? Everything's there. One of the major problems that I have come across straight away, and you'll probably see it, is that. And I think this is absolutely knackered because I've put power across. We have the loom with it. It's a bit of the on the short side, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'll soon extend it. So we have two twisted wires. I know they're not supposed to be like that, but anyway, they both go to live. And then we have the brown, which is negative. I've put a power supply across this, and we've got absolutely nothing. I've got the pump working, so I know the fuel pump works. That's no problem. But that, absolutely nothing. I brought it into place where I work. There's a gentleman here who is a bit of a electronics genius, and he's phenomenally good with electronics. So I'm going to get him to test the loom for me, test this before I order another one. I've got one lined up already, which is $36.99, so I'll order that. And then we'll go through getting this fired up. I've got an exhaust pipe ordered to come for that. Hopefully the ECU unit's okay, I do not know, so that'll be something I have to look into. She looks in pretty good nick actually. It's had a bit of a, you can see that on the front, so I don't think, I'm going to have to take this apart because that noise I'm not keen on. You hear that? Yeah, so anyway, I'll have a look at that, I'll take that apart. Yeah, so we'll get this tested. They look like they're all in place and they're all there, and then I will show you how I progress with this video. So yeah, catch you in a bit. So before I test the wiring loom, I'm going to have a look at that noise is inside here. So I'm going to take off the ECU unit, which is a star, and then there's 4 more stars there. Pretty straightforward connectors. I'll have a look. Okay, take your fan off, just pulls off the splines, you can see that. Under the screw, which is the star screw, which we've just done. And then you have to push these two together. You can see that. And then the thing will lift up. I can't do it with hand and camera, so just bear with me. Okay, that just pops up, no problem. And I'll just pull that out of there, and then we'll have a look what's inside. What that noise is, I'm not keen on that. We'll have a look at that. Well, we're going to clean it anyway, so. Okay, pull the pin out. It's got a bit of a suction popper on that, and it can only go in one way. I've just looked, if you look at that, and then if you look, if you can see that there, yeah, it can only go in one way, it can only go on one way. So I'm going to undo these and we're going to have a little look inside. Okay, if you're watching this video, it's first hand, just like me. So your inlet port is separate and it slides in. So, right, let's have a little bit of a look then. So this is your furnace part. This is your heater plug, glow plug. So, right, this is the bit I want to look at. So I'll stop for a second and have a quick play. Okay, on first look, it spins. If you can see just underneath it, well, underneath this, there's a bit of a build-up of grime. Sorry, can you see that? And I think that's what's catching on the fan there. So I think this is just a pop-on fan again. Splines in the middle, so I'm just going to pop it off and probably give this a bit of a clean. Okay, a lot of grime built up around the edge, around here. Hold on. Right, sorry about that, it was the phone. So I've cleaned up all the gubbin and the crap which was just on the inside of this with a fine bit of emery cloth, not to damage this fan at all, of course. And also, if you look, you can see that okay. Inside there's a build-up of grime, so I'm going to give that a clean as well. It's only, I don't know what it is, a bit of like lime scale or something anyway. Is that all inside? Yeah, so I'm going to give that a clean. I'm going to give that a blowout. And then I'll put it back together again. But if you listen now, sorry, let's put this, I have to hold, sorry, both hands. So if you listen now, listen to that. Beautiful. Right, okay. So that's pretty straightforward, that's easy enough. And I'll show it back together in a sec. Okay, cleaned inside, looks much nicer. But I've noticed as well, got a slight bit of wear on the gasket, so I'm going to order a new one, and they are, where are we? If we come down, they're reasonably cheap actually. Off the new site, you know, you can see it there, so $5.28. So I'll order that now, and then I'll reassemble when that comes. Okay, we're going to do a... Okay, so we're going to give it a test. We've got a transformer I just borrowed off my mate. Black is positive coming through. This is two blacks, I mean, but the black and then the brown is negative. So just gently, ooh, I've got to keep this still with both hands. So that's a, that is definitely, it's rotating the right way as well. So that's a good test. It's going to spin like Billy-O because we've got no pressure because it's not fixed to anything. There's no fan on the back as well, but the motor works. So that's one test. Okay, I'm just going to show you the procedure I used just to clean this fan. I couldn't get this off, by the way, and I think that is a crack in it. Well, not a crack in the whole thing, but just there, piece down, which is a bit annoying. So someone might have had this apart, which is another. Do you buy second? Well, do you buy second hand? Anyway, it's a challenge you have to take. So all I did was put a piece of emery cloth just behind the fan, this ceramic piece here, to get all the grime off, and just gently go with the fan. Well, you can't see that, sorry, there we go. So it's a bit of a two hands, and that's all I did was move the fan with it. Can you hear that, to clean it? And then when it was all clean, and I just fan back on again. Nothing. Beautiful. So the gaskets come today. So we'll put this back together. We'll put the ECU unit back on top of here. I'll show you that. The gaskets come, and also, bear with me. So gaskets. And then this little control unit. The trouble is the wiring code is different, so we've got to figure that out today, and I will definitely put this in the video because this will be a must to find out exactly what the wires do. So we've got all the instruction manuals for this and the wiring diagram. I've also downloaded the wiring diagram as well for the Eberspacher, is it Eberspacher heater. So we'll do a video on what corresponds here with the original. So this is the original, which I think I showed you. This is what the trouble is when you're buying off the second hand off the auction sites. There was no mention this was smashed, which is fine because I bought it as sold as seen. I think the only thing I've got in my favour at the moment with this thing is it's pretty tidy. If you look at this motor, I mean, all that was in here was a bit of grime, and that's pretty smooth, and we've tested the motor in the video. This one thing to look at is the exhaust port. That's pretty clean. There's not much in there, so I don't know if it's done a lot of use. It might have been a service. I've cleaned inside here. The furnace looks like it's in really good nick. It's not much work done. The ECU unit looks clean, so hopefully a little bit of luck. I've bought wisely, but you never know. Okay, I'm waiting we'll get this back together and we'll get the ECU unit back on in a sec. New gasket. Here's the wiring diagram. I know you can't see that much. That's what came with it. So it's the bottom we're interested in, the airtronic, not the hydronic. The hydronic, whatever. So the airtronic. So we'll look at that a bit later. Gasket, nice and clean. That will go back on. Okay, I'm going to, on its end, put the new gasket on top. It'll be the easiest way of doing it, I think. Haven't forgotten anything. Nope. This can only go on one way round, as you can see, because the exhaust port, no, the airport. Airport? Little joke. I'll put the screws in this packet. I'm going to put it all together, then I'll tighten it down slightly, then I'll spin it, just make sure nothing's catching. Last one. And when you're going to tighten each corner down, just in sequence. I don't know why, just me. Same again. I think this torque head's the wrong size as well, so I'm just going to check that. Yeah, make sure you use the right size. It was a little bit smaller, well, a lot smaller, so I'm making sure you use the right one. I don't want to slip. Okay. So I'm going to turn. And now whack them home. Okay, change it back now for the smaller one. Give it a little test. Oh, sounds beauty. And then we're going to put the ECU unit back on, if you can see that. It only goes on one way, like we said before. The clip, it lines up. Cool. This can only go back in one way. It's such a stiff wire anyway, it doesn't even twist, so it can only go in because the, like I said, there's a little nodge in there, so back in with that, and then nice and tight. Spin it. Great. So next part now is figure out the wiring, and then after that, yeah, we're going to figure the wiring out, for the control unit, and I'll film all that as well, and how we figure out the colour codes to match the colour codes on. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to cut that, and then we'll take the colour codes off and have a look at it.